Hi everyone. Today I'm going to share with you my three biggest mistakes in property investing in the hope that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Please learn from other people's mistakes, learn from my mistakes so that you can go on to be more successful in your property investing. My name is Daniel and I founded Born Poor Die Rich with the hope to help people grow passive income through property. And over the years, we've helped literally hundreds, thousands of students be able to do the same. Let's jump straight into it. My first biggest mistake is that I, in the past, bought alligator properties. And what I mean by alligator properties, these are properties where simply the rent doesn't even cover the mortgage. We've all seen articles recently like these ones here, right? That Singapore property is no longer a great option for retirement. You might wonder why so. Precisely it's because the prices have gone up so high. At the same time, the rents haven't really caught up pace. But because of the high prices, the mortgage on one hand is such a high amount. You could be paying 4, 5, 6,000 on your mortgage, but your rent is only maybe 3,000. So in effect, if say your mortgage is 5,000, your rent is 3,000, you are making a $2,000 loss every single month. And this is what I call alligator property, my friends. Why? Because if you stop feeding your alligator property, banks are going to come after you. And that's where a lot of people think, oh, be careful not to over leverage, be careful to when you're investing in property. Why? Because they're buying the wrong type of properties, which are alligator properties. On the other hand, what kind of properties you should be buying are what I call golden goose properties. And these are properties where the rent is able to cover the mortgage, and not just that, but other outgoing expenses and still generate you a profit of at least 300 Singapore dollars a month. All right, so there's some buffer. In Singapore, most properties, I would say, are negatively cash flowing, are alligator properties. At best, you might get it to break even, or you might have a slight positive, maybe 50 or 100 or 150 Sing dollars. But one small repair, like a washing machine, breaks down, and there goes your profit. And those of you in Singapore who might be having properties that are fully paid up, and you think, oh, actually, it's not true because I got no mortgage, or I have paid up a lot of my loan, I'm getting quite a lot of the rent as passive income. But question for you, if that same amount of money that is in that property, be it $500,000 or $1 million, if it's working harder in golden goose properties, how much more passive income could you get? So that's the first strategy: buy golden goose properties, not alligator properties. The second is this. In the early days, I have had some success in property investing. I was buying properties, terrace houses in the UK, and I was renting it out, getting a good, stable return. And then new opportunities came up that needed more funds than I had. So what I then did was I went into joint ventures with others. And some of these were friends, people that I've known. And here's a tip for you, right? Never, ever go into a joint venture with somebody that you just met. Because, it's like a marriage in the business world, right? You want to make sure that you have the right values, you know what you're going into with both eyes open, what are the potential rewards, at the same time, what are the potential risks, especially for those of you who are investing with friends. This is so important. Like some people can be friends, but they don't necessarily understand the risk profile of a joint venture where you might have an equal bearing of profits and losses. So that's really challenging. And of course, I have had deals even in the UK that have not gone well and resulting in us taking much longer to exit the project, or in some cases there were deals where we even had losses because these were advanced strategy at that time and I didn't have the right knowledge. Unfortunately, I was chasing after the higher returns out of greed. And I think the rest of my joint venture partners were also at the same time, they are not first-time investors, they are investors themselves, but out of greed, we all went into it. Now in hindsight, we know that perhaps that wasn't the best decision to make, but just beware of joint ventures. All right. And then the most important thing, which I've learned out of this very painful lesson, because some of them are friends, really friends that I hold dear. But unfortunately, as a result of this failed joint venture, obviously the relationship, the friendship is strained. But, as long as you hold yourself integrity, you know what you need to do to get it right. It might take longer, but eventually you'll be able to exit the joint venture. So be very, very careful not to go into joint ventures, especially if you don't have the right knowledge. Make sure you go into it with both eyes open, and importantly, have the knowledge to do the due diligence on the deal first. So that's the second very painful mistake that I had in property investing. The third thing is this: as a result of that experience with the joint ventures and chasing, profits like 30-50% returns, I have then really shifted my strategy to one that is stable, one that is predictable. And some of you might have heard me say this, that I love my investments to be boring. So a lot of properties that my students and myself, we buy are, between 6 to 8% return for a family let. If we go with a more advanced strategy, like a house of multiple occupation, you could get maybe 10 to 15%. For those of us who don't even know these exist, you're like, wow, that looks like a phenomenal return. Is it safe? Is it secure? Absolutely, because we've done this many, many times. So we know exactly how much cash flow we're going to get, what returns are possible, and we do this before we even buy the deal. So this is the third tip there, my friends. Don't buy in the hope that prices go up, or don't try to chase profits, but rather, once you have the right systems, the right knowledge, do what is tested and proven, right? Don't chase the next shiny coin. That's really important. Slow and steady wins the race. As you know, our philosophy here is you're not going to get financially free in 1 year, right? But if you are prudent with your funds, you are frugal with the investment monies, if you can't even build an investment pot of say 50 or 100,000, then there's no chance that you're going to be financially free, because the same financial habits you use to save up money to build a 50,000 pot, it could be over years, could then buy you one Golden Goose property. And that formula, you just rinse and repeat. You could actually retire 10, 15, 20 years sooner than you imagine. So friends, these are the 3 tips for you. Buy Golden Goose properties, not alligator properties. All right, don't rush into JVs, especially with people you don't know or in strategies that you have no knowledge on. And the third thing is always buy properties with stable returns. You know what returns you're going to get, rather than buying in the hope that the price would go up. Remember, hope is not a strategy. Comment below, what was the biggest takeaway for you in this video? What were some of your own mistakes that you have made in the property journey, and how have you managed to turn that around? Make sure you get yourself subscribed to this channel, like this video, because it helps us to reach more people who need to hear this message. This is Daniel, signing out.